Good job, man.
Good job, Jan. Good job. So I think we are close to start. Let's wait until more people join. Let's wait
Did
two
we
or three
announce
minutes.
that we're starting, Sensei?
Yeah, I announced.
Okay.
I announced. What are you drinking today, Jose? Water, right?
Water and pills and medicaments.
Okay. Yeah. I'm going with the classic coffee. Classic black coffee. OTV, what are you drinking?
Iced tea.
Iced tea?
So behaved.
I
I
wasn't
guess he
expecting
wants
that
to. He
answer.
want. He wants to be on his A game today.
For sure.
To, Today's is an important day for OTB. He
Start
has
the
been
alpha
Yeah.
now.
flooding. He has been
Stop
flooding for
teasing,
so
start the
long for
alpha.
this day.
Yeah.
Iced
I
tea.
think I think we can start to say what do you think?
Where's my alpha?
Yeah.
Oh, Dominic,
Where's Mel?
Let's go.
let's
Yeah,
go.
man.
Okay,
I have a lot
guys.
to talk about.
Yeah, it's going to be a good brew. So yeah, guys, welcome to the Atlas Brew number 14. We're going to speak about Scream today. But as we always do, let's do a few things before jumping right into business like we do in the town halls. In the brew, we take it a little bit easier here. We like to chat, we like to speak, we like to share alpha sometimes, only sometimes.
Sometimes.
But today we have alpha for you guys. We have some
Oh
alpha in
yeah.
terms of things that are coming to the Stratlas community, guys. There is something coming to the Stratlas community on June 16th. Mark your calendars, guys. Something is coming for the Stratlas community on June 16th. It is called, it's a community activity, guys. Let's be clear. It's a community activity,
We can say
and it,
competition, don't
yeah,
we?
yeah, it's a competition. It's a
It's a
competition.
competition.
You can call it competition. Yeah, yeah, it's a competition. It is called Copa. Copa. First time. I think you heard it. Pablo leaked it in the live stream.
Yeah,
It's
for
called
those who are paying
Copa,
attention.
which means Council of Peace Assembly. It means Council of Peace Assembly, guys. You may
Looks
wonder, Santi, what are you speaking about? We understand nothing. So, this is an opportunity that we are giving from the Star Atlas side to the guilds to present. This is going to be a live event for guilds. It's going to be hosted in the Star Atlas Discord. And what we want to do basically is to give our guilds exposure and the opportunity to share with the community and the listeners and the Star Atlas team at the same time what they are doing, what are their plans, and basically recruit or do whatever you want, guys. Like if you find other guilds that are aligned with your vision, maybe work together or whatever you guys want. But yeah, guys, it's called Copa. It's going to happen in the Star Atlas Discord on June 16th. I'm just leaking it here in the Atlas Brew, but there will be more announcements coming from the Star Atlas side and more details before you ask me 100 questions. Please wait for more announcements from our side. But yeah, guys, like it's going to be a festival, a celebration. It's going to be a celebration. We will have prizes, really interesting prizes for not only the guilds, but also for the people who go and tune in and listen. So yeah, we will have DJs as well in the meantime, in the middle of the guild's presentations. But yeah, guys, it's going to be really interesting. We will be sharing more details on how to compete, like how to register your guild to participate in Copa and to present because of time reasons, not all the guilds are going to be able to participate in Copa. So what the Star Atlas team will do is to open a form on a landing page that we will have coming soon, where guilds will have to to prepare like a PDF or a document as a pitch. So the Star Atlas team will review, and we will get the some guilds to present based on the pitch that they send to the landing page.
Yeah, guys,
So yeah, Jose.
just just to add something here, this is like at the same time it's a festival for the community of Star Atlas, a celebration for what we have achieved and what we are getting to in the near future. It will be a very festive moment for everyone because we'll be very close to some of the things that you guys are waiting for so long. So it's an opportunity to showcase your guild to the world. Like the eyes will be at Star Atlas at this point. So we want to give you guys the space, the exposure for you guys to show your developments and things that you have been working with, your strategies for the future, and also to compete for a very, very, very valuable prize. And the nature of this prize that we are talking about is, I don't know, how could I say it, crafted for guilds. Like this is a prize for guilds that will enable guild members to be rewarded for the efforts of their guilds. So, oh man, imagine that a prize, a dinner with Santi for the whole guild, man.
Dinner with Santi.
I think this is better than the prize that we have Santi. I'll ask them to change.
Okay, no more prices, just a dinner
No more
with
prize.
Santi.
Yeah, man. But yeah, we actually have a very cool prize, and honestly, it's. I'm sorry, Ben, I can't do that because people start. We have bosses here watching this streaming, so they will cut me right away if I leak this. But there will be the announcement soon, and when you see this prize, you will call every single guildmate that you have and say, "Get on to business, guys. We need to win this." We need to win this. This is all I can
Yeah,
say.
yeah, definitely, definitely. But yeah, guys, it's going to be a historical moment for the Star Atlas community because this is the first Copa that we will be hosting. So that means that you will be part of history and that this will continue happening in the future. But yeah, guys, like we feel like it's a good time to do it because we have our core guys always having the Stratless back, and we want to do it with the core community and get some rewards for guilds and everyone who is adding value to the Stratless ecosystem. And yeah, just as a as a leak here for our fellow brewers, if you are planning on getting your guild in Copa, one little tip that I can share with you now, so you can start thinking, is that when you send the pitch to the Star Atlas team, like the PDF or Google Doc or in any format that you want to send it, make sure to be clear on what your guild is doing to add value to the ecosystem as a whole. Maybe products, services, or community. So that's the tip that I can
Yeah,
give you guys.
yeah, for sure, guys. This is the focus, to bring value to the community. This is what we're looking for.
Yeah. So yeah, guys, we'll have more details coming soon on Copa Council of Peace Assembly soon, probably this week. I think this week. Yeah, you will see
Yeah,
more announcements this week. But hopefully you can get an idea on what is going to be uh, by what we just leaked in the brew. So yeah, guys, just as a little leak for our fellow brewers here that we are going to have Copa. So yeah, guys, hope that you are excited as the Star Atlas team is, because yeah, we want to give our guilds exposure, and yeah, and everybody needs to know all the things that are being done here, because yeah, guys, you're doing crazy amount of cool stuff, not only for the Star Atlas community but even for Solana as a whole. So yeah, guys,
yeah, guys, we're proud of
coming
you.
soon. More details soon. This week.
Yeah,
More
yes,
details
and
this
let's
week.
move on. Let's move on because we have a lot to disclose, a lot to talk
Yeah,
about.
yeah. Before we move into Scream, I have one last thing. And it's here we have Kriegs from the hologram. Kriegs, are you here with us? Can you speak? Probably push to talk. Remember to set up the push to talk. But yeah, guys, if you don't know who Kriegs or the hologram are, make sure to give them a look because I just want to give Kriegs and the hologram a shout out because all the things that you are doing, guys, with the hologram, it's really, really, really good. I love how you're
Yeah,
breaking down everything that is happening in the Star Atlas community, and I
yeah.
love that we have like our reporters here always listening and breaking down everything that happens in the Star Atlas community.
Mm,
So yeah,
yeah,
Kriegs,
and
if
so
you're
many
here,
different content,
Hey,
yeah,
like
Santi.
from
Sorry,
new.
I just set up
Oh,
push to
let's
talk.
go. Hey, Cricks.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Awesome, man.
thanks for joining, man. Thanks for joining us today. So
Hey,
tell
thank you,
us.
Santi.
I feel like you will be able to tell us a little bit better what is the hologram. What are you trying to do with the hologram?
Hey, yeah. Thanks again, Santi Jose, for having me here, and good afternoon, good morning to everyone listening on the Brew. I'm Kriggs. And a couple weeks ago, I started the hologram, and thank you to everyone that's been a huge supporter thus far for the hologram. Really, our goal is to bring the community together, and it's kind of a great segue from Copa because we felt that there was so much amazing content out there, and everyone was doing such great, amazing work, and we wanted to kind of bring that all together and cover every aspect of the Star Atlas community and kind of spread the love around. Maybe something was happening over here that someone didn't know about, and so we wanted to share that with people over here, and vice versa.
That is great, man. Yeah, because a lot of things happen in this Atlas community all the time. And there are a lot of things that I'm sure that go unnoticed. And having things like the hologram breaking them down, like I love it. I
Yeah,
really I really love it.
it's awesome because there is content and then there is, for example, guild drama, like the guilds are fighting. He's like telling things live action of the discussions and things like that. I love it, man. I love it. And I foresee, Santi, that this is going to be an actual career path in terms of metaverse gameplay in Star Atlas, because information is priceless. Everyone knows that. And especially in Star Atlas, like when you have this big universe with thousands of things happening, I'm sure that I'll get my subscription of the hologram to keep up with everything that's going on.
Definitely, man. Already, like right now.
Yeah,
You need it right now. So yeah, guys, go show the
Absolutely.
hologram some love. We're dropping the Twitter link here on the Atlas Brew chat. If you want to go and follow them, they are doing a
Absolutely.
great
Thank you
job.
very much, Jose Santi. And yeah, like you said, this is hopefully can be a career in the Star Atlas metaverse. And right now, for the most part, has been me cranking out these articles day and night, even while I'm on vacation at Disneyland, to get some of this information out to you guys. But what would really, really help, and we've kind of did it with the community writing contest, is if anyone out there has a passion for writing and a passion for Star Atlas, and you want to contribute to the hologram, please contact me either on Twitter or Discord, and let's work together to if you like writing, let's get that information out there. And it could be anyone, right? The hologram is a home for anybody that wants to put their voice out there. And, we're a very neutral organization, and so as you saw with the kind of guild commentary, and I'm sure there'll be more going forward. It'll be important to get your guild's message out there.
absolutely,
Yes,
friend. Absolutely. Thank you for doing this, and I'm sure that this will spark the imagination and the desire of many members to contribute, to leave their work, their impressions in the history of Star Atlas. And yeah, it's a joy to have someone like you in the community, like the guys that did the Tooth Attack Harold Doom on Pixel, and everyone else that is daily working for creating content and creating structures for the game. Man, we are very, very, very happy to have you guys here. Like it makes us work every day, with our hearts filled with joy, knowing that there is so many people vibing with us, and you guys were with us through some hard months, and now there will be some very cool months where we are releasing everything that we have been working on. And this is going to get better, guys, like in terms of the game, in terms of enjoyment, in terms of getting together with more friends from the community. We are building the foundations of Star Atlas here, like every single one of you guys is a very important OG member for us, like you were the guys that stood by our side at the beginning, and you'll be the guys that I don't know how many years from now you guys will say that I was there when Star Atlas wasn't even Scream or Score, like
Yeah.
this is going to be awesome.
I was there in the first Copa. You will be
Yeah, I
able
was
to
there in the
say that.
first scope. I saw the tooth attack rise, like this is priceless. This
Yeah.
is very interesting for me. And yeah, I hope to have you guys together with us through this whole journey.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, guys. Like the Star Atlas community is like next level, guys. You're doing this. You're taking Star Atlas to the next level with things like the hologram today, Tooth Attack, and a lot more stuff that you I know that a lot of you guys are working on. So today we are giving a shout out and love to the hologram and Creeks. Uh, Again, great job, Creeks. Thanks for taking the time to add value to the Star Atlas ecosystem and the Star Atlas community. And yeah, guys, don't worry if you're building something for Star Atlas, you will have the time to share with everyone. We'll probably do another brew just on community developed product projects like we did in the past. But yeah, I just wanted to give a big shout out to Craigs. Craigs, thank you for joining.
Thank you, Santi. Thank you, Jose. Much love to you guys and much love to the community.
Thank you, friend.
Thank you, man. Thank you. So,
So, so, so,
so,
so. Yeah, I
yeah,
guess it's
this is the
time,
moment.
right,
This is the
Santi?
moment.
Man,
Are
I'm
you
feeling
guys
the chills,
ready?
like.
Yeah. You feel the bones, the penguin bones trembling,
Yeah,
right?
man, my my body's trembling. Not sure. Never mind that. Yeah, let's
Yeah.
get started with Scream.
Scream, guys.
And
Scream. There was just for context, like maybe if you're lost or if you're listening to this, I don't know, 3 years from now, this Friday we had the biggest alpha drop ever, I would say, on the town hall. Probably, mainly because we had like a huge information dump on us on what is a Scream and what we are going to be able to do in a Scream and how we will engage with Scream. So now in this brew, basically we just want to discuss and chat and see what you guys are thinking, your strategies, and maybe clear some doubts. I know that Jose took the deepest dive that someone can take into Scream, and he's the knowledge itself right now. He
man, I
wrote a
have been
full
theory craft.
newsletter. Yeah, yeah, yeah. We are so ready to theory craft, but also to help if you don't understand anything about Scream or anything. And also to share. The mics are always open for you guys to chime in the conversation. That is really important. That is basically what the brew is all about. So we will start going into different topics about Scream, but make sure, please, to tune in the conversation at any time and share your ideas. Even when we theory craft, agree or disagree with what we are saying and everything. That is what makes the conversation valuable, the discussion and everything. So,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, just like go.
yeah, no, yeah, for sure. Like there is no right or wrong answer. Everyone can take their own conclusions from what we are talking about right now. And our main objective is to raise awareness, like trying to think screen from different angles, from the orthodox view of just, going from one place to another and trying to attack someone randomly, And I don't know, Saint, it's so big, screen is so big that I was actually finding difficult to find a starting point for this conversation.
It's
But
difficult to find it.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah.
difficult because, well, let's give them a summary of the main points of Scream. So what's happening in Scream is also an event from the lore of Star Atlas, you know. Like what is happening is that tension is rising in the galaxy, you know. We have you guys, members from various decks and guilds, and the safe zone is not enough for the factions, you know, at this point in time. And they have tensions, they have people inside there that wants to raise to power, want to acquire territories, want to expand their operations. And then there is the medium risk zone. The medium risk zone at this point is not formed yet. You know, it has been conquered by the other factions. This happened due to events that will be explained in the lore, but after the Convergence War, what happened is that the factions came back to their homeworld systems and started rebuilding after spending their resources and everything that they had in terms of constructions, infrastructure, fleets into the war. They came back to reconstruct, and this created a cooperation between them that raised us to the golden age that we are living in Staratla. But as history has told us, uh, prosperity is cyclical, you know, like, and now the greed rises once more, and then we find ourselves with Scream. To get started on Screen, you need to understand what's going to happen in terms of these huge fights that's starting. We have the many solar systems that surrounds the planets, the factions of the Star Atlas, and those areas are now controlled by groups of NPCs. So the first instance of gameplay in Green will be the factions expanding from the safe risk zone towards what's going to be the newly created medium risk zone. There, we'll need to fight the NPCs that control those spaces and eventually the other factions which will try to acquire those planets as well. The cool thing that's happening here is that uh, we are not talking about the whole medium risk zone, but mainly the neighboring planets, neighboring star systems that we have right now. So we are actually building the core of the foundation of the universe that we'll have in the future. This is something that we are working on, the bridges between the full game and screen, but we want everything to have meaningful effects in terms of gameplay. So, and what are the factions doing to rule space? Well, they are trying to create those points of control, which are called star bases. And star bases are maybe the most important feature of Scream. A star base is like a representation of political control and economic power of a faction in a star system. Once a faction manages to place a starbase in a given system and to protect it and to upgrade it, it will start to expand and spread its influence inside the galaxy. The cool trade off here is that at the beginning, most likely the factions will take without much work the neighboring systems, establishing a belt of protection between the faction homeworlds and the frontiers in the medium risk zone. But, and here it starts getting interesting, what's going to happen is that as factions expand their influence, so they will also spread their troops, their fleets, right? The players will, for example, let us say that we are working in the Ustur faction, you know, and let's say the Ustur start managing many systems. There will be a huge trade-off for that because right now we have like different 20 different frontiers of war going at the same time. So this dimension of knowing when to expand or when to upgrade the structures to sediment the power of the faction inside the screen is also a gameplay very important decision. This is the kind of reasoning that I wanted to get us started today because in screen we need to make smart choices in every aspect of gameplay level. From these political concerns, like should we expand our frontiers right now? We have the human capital and human resources to do that, to even the individual player level, like what should I do to be successful in Screen? Because as Chip has hinted, there's more than a way to play Screen, right? You guys know that for your contributions to the factions, you guys will be rewarded with loyalty points. And let us say, for example, if you did represent like 1% of all the work, all the loyalty points of the faction in a given epoch, what's going to do is get the reward proportional to that contribution. So this is one way to play Scream,
That
one
is that
entertaining,
is really important. Like it's a really
yeah,
important thing. Basically, you will be rewarded
for your
according to
effort.
the value and effort that you're putting in. So
Y-
that's
Yeah,
that's not minor. That's not a minor thing.
no, it's not. And then there is the opposite logic of if you don't want to work for the faction, but you want to work for the engine of war in terms of supplying people with resources, you can also live through harvesting and crafting the R4 resources that the fleet will need to expand their influence in the galaxy, you know? And those are two different logics of gameplay, but those are two things that we'll need to accommodate to be successful in Screen. And I don't know, Santi, but another thing that I really enjoy about Screen is that it has that vibe of uh, board game intelligent gameplay, you know, where people will be able to see what's happening in the screen. And then you have the opportunity to coordinate and to play your cards to forward your specific agenda. There is no such a sure win strategy for a screen, you know? Because, for example, let us say maybe at one opportunity is a good strategy to let someone conquer a star system and go for the neighboring star systems and try to cut out the supply lines there. So maybe you give a step back, let them go deeper into your territory, and then you go to the sides, getting more space and structure there to better position your fleets for a massive attack in the future, you know? So the cool thing is that while we'll have single player objectives, like the ones that we have when we play, there is also the macro objectives. And when we are talking about objectives, we are talking about factions, but we are talking about decks as well, you know? Maybe a deck want to rule a specific solar system that has some very specific resource because they foresee that in the future this resource will be more valuable. So they will be concentrating their whole fleet into maintaining that territory and the neighboring star system. So I foresee that factions and the guilds that compose them might have different objectives, and the individual players will have also different objectives as well. I don't know, guys. What do you think?
Yeah, this is a good moment to pause and listen to some of the comments from our guys. Like, what do you
Yeah,
think, guys, about what we are saying? Let us know.
Can
What is
you
your
ask my question again?
come again?
Yeah, I wrote it in the Atlas Blue chat. I saw what you're saying is a guild might have a goal, but the benefit of the faction would be in another direction, right?
it's
That
possible
that
that
could happen.
yeah,
Well,
this
yeah,
situation
that's
happens,
the
you
thing.
know?
Yeah,
And,
it's possible, but there is a hierarchy inside the faction, right? I mean, the guild wouldn't bring the whole faction down with him, right?
uh, I think it's possibly impossible for a single guild, to bring an entire faction down. But, you know, maybe the guilds will coordinate their agendas differently from what the faction agenda is. Even more because we don't have a centralized decision maker inside the faction. You know what I mean? For example, who will be the ones calling the shots for the faction expansion? Will this be purely organic, or the guilds will try to do that uh, in on their own? You know what I mean?
That's going
Like,
to be really
Oh,
interesting to see how it rolls out, how it turns out to be, because the coordination in Scream is going to be really, really important. Really important.
yeah,
I have a
yeah.
question.
Please, Dream.
Will there be friendly fire within the faction?
I don't think so. So far, no, not for V0.
Okay.
Don't think so.
What are you
And
planning, Jimmy Dragon Man? That's a
yeah, man,
dangerous
I was
question.
yeah. When someone from the club comes and says that, things will get. What are you
I'm
scheming, man?
figuring out where the front line is.
Yeah,
I'm
man,
figuring out
for
if the front line is behind me.
yeah,
Okay.
and there is also something very interesting when we are talking about frontline is that as time passes by, the distance between the capital of the factions and the front lines of the war grows bigger. And the thing is that the star bases, until they reach a certain threshold, they aren't able to produce the refined resources that people needs to keep their fleets flying and fighting in the outer space. So this will give birth, guys, to a huge and very important logistic industries that needs to be aligned with the faction expansion. Otherwise, there will be collapse of the troops and fleets fighting the front lines. So there will be the need for guilds and actors to think about lots and lots of things while they are playing score in screen. Sorry, you can play casually, you can do some objectives, you can harvest some resources, but if your guild, if you personally is aiming to conquer the galaxy, and manage to secure the rare resources for your guild and your guys, you guys will need to think through a lot and a lot of different instances and mechanics, to keep things going well.
So,
Yeah.
Jose, do you know if the resources on the planets, they are, I assume they are limited, right? I assume they will probably run out after a certain amount of time.
Funcracker, I don't know if they will run out, but there will be a logic of emission. So, for example, maybe a planet will have a limited capacity to produce resources, and the more players try to get the resource from that planet, maybe lower will be this input of emission. I don't know the particular logic, but I'm assuming that there will be some sort of limitation in terms of production.
Yeah, I understand. Cool. Because the way I'm seeing the game so far is that there'll be like a constant moving front where starting or originating in the safe zone, moving outward, deeper and deeper into the medium risk zone, and being pushed back by, I assume, different faction players from different factions, potentially also from by the banished factions. But I figured if people are looking to claim a system, then I I kind of assume that that's not really a feasible thing to just stick to one system, since, like you mentioned, apparently the functionality of the starbase is going to be limited at some point, but perhaps also the planets might limit you mining resources as well.
Yeah, but for example, let us say that a single star system has a very, very rare resource, and maybe if only you if only your faction has access to that resource, it would imply that this would make the price rises from the different partners, different members of the community trying to get access to that. Because I don't know if you guys remember, but we have more than 20 different resources in screen. And those resources are scaled in terms of rarity, you know? No financial advice, okay? Talking here. Dominic reminded me of that, but this is gameplay theory craft purely. Like, and they will have utility, like those resources, they have in-game utility for every single thing. So finding the utility and learning how those can be played is also a very important game mechanic as a whole, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah, I
I think
understand.
it's important what Dominic said. Basically, that this is not financial advice at all, guys. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
don't even think of making financial decisions based on what we say
Yeah,
here.
please. We are talking about gameplay elements here, like utility in game of different assets.
I have
And we
another
only
question.
theory craft. Yeah, yeah, go
Earlier,
ahead.
when we talked about how everybody gets a third of the rewards, right? But what are those rewards exactly? Because let's say Uster beats Oni back to just one small area. Are they still each getting a third, or is Uster getting more?
They are still getting the third, but they won't have access to the resources that are harvested in the areas that they don't conquer, you know?
So it's a third of
So
what exactly? Just Atlas? Is that what you
of
mean?
the Atlas emission pool, yeah.
Okay, cool. Right. Okay,
Of
that
the
sounds
Steam
good.
Atlas emission pool.
Yeah, can I ask a follow-up question?
Yes, please.
Yeah, Green Dragon asked a good question before. Imagine a guild. We have several guilds that don't have a specific faction. They're in all three. Now imagine a guild. I don't know. Puts like 10%, 20% of 20% of their crew, for example, in mod, and 80% is in Oni. So the main bunch of the people of the guild is in Oni, right? Now imagine that 20%, that 10% of people acting as kind of like backstabbers or saboteurs that make really bad decisions in a really critical situation. And that's what I meant by bringing the guild down. Well, they wouldn't bring the whole faction, sorry, bringing the whole faction down, they wouldn't bring the whole faction down, but the faction might experience losses, heavy losses because of their action. Is there a mechanic that these backstabbers could be, I don't know, busted out of the guild, out of the
Yeah,
faction, something like
I,
that?
I love this question. This is something that Calvin Kidden also asked it, so maybe we can address this a little bit about the places and holes of the multi-faction guilds, you know. We have some multi-faction guilds on the Star Atlas gameplay mechanics, and what we need to do is that remember that, okay, let's say a faction, let's say a guild, a deck start applying this logic, you know, and maybe even in a bad case scenario, it makes it possible for people to, you know, get the faction loses a star system due to betrayal. This has big implications in terms of community, you know, Aras. For example, if we know that a guild did something like that, this will, you know, make them a target for every single guild in the faction. You know, like this would earn the people distrust. This would make alliances in Star Atlas to
Yeah, but
raise
you
and
can't do
try
anything
to.
because there is no friendly fire. Sorry, I'm cutting you off, but there is no friendly
No,
fire
yeah,
that they
there's no
can.
friendly fire, but there are different ways you can retaliate. You know, it's not just a matter of conquering someone's territory or denying them access to a faction, you know? Like the game is only starting and this is V0, you know? We don't know if this is going to be a structure in the future as well. So we need to know that there will be a future. And of course, the Screen team has already foreseen the possibility of multi-faction gameplay, and they are working on some stuff that maybe they will release with us later about the mechanisms that foresee these gameplay structures, you know. Sabotage and espionage, they exist in real world and they will exist in Star Atlas, I'm sure of it, you
They
know.
already do, man.
They
Probably.
already do, this already
Yeah.
happened in our community. So it's up to the community to deal with these kind of things as well, you know. Calvin, please. I figured you were saying something.
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna address the guy you were talking to. I mean, without friendly fire, how would they lose you a system other than like pull out at an inopportune time when you sort of trusted them to defend it? and then you could do the same thing to them. You could pull out while they were there and let them get shellacked by whoever was coming in. So I mean, I don't know. There are ways you could get them.
Yeah, there are
Yeah, but
various
in the end, the factions destroyed. I mean, if we want to get back at them with again hitting another blow to the faction's the one just getting slammed one after one time after the other, right?
Yeah, but there is an actual mechanic to help factions that get too attacked to come back into its feet, you know? And this comes back to something that I was talking earlier today. The more you expand, the more fronts of battle you have in screen, you know? Like, if you control systems that have a frontier with the different factions, there will be as many fronts that you need to fight or your war on. If your faction get repelled to the point that they are only conquering their safe zone, the other two factions will need to build enormous supply roads to keep war near your faction border. You know what I mean? This make this a massive endeavor, possibly impossible to keep this going for a long period of time because players from the faction that's being attacked, they'll be able to go behind the lines and cut the supply roads, getting the resources that are trying to be brought to the front lines of the factions. I think it's not even economically interesting for them to try and get all the bases of other faction, you know? Like there will all be a calculation of risk versus reward in screen. And this is something that the guilds, the leaderships need to always be thinking and addressing. Grove, I see your
Oh,
Just a quick
okay.
question.
Yeah, go ahead.
sure.
Like for single players, can we form a fleet with anybody? Like, can I say, hey, you want to
Uh,
form a fleet or something?
Former fleet, I think we can confirm this. This is now speculation, but the fleets will be individual. But, for example, let us say that you want to attack the planet. I don't know if you guys remember the screenshot that we shared, but there are some points inside the solar system. So if you want to cooperate with a friend attacking a said starbase, you guys align which points that you want to position your fleets together, and they will be working together to take down the starbase, you know?
Okay, and can you elaborate more on the combat a little bit, or is that top secret now? Or like how combat will go down?
Yeah,
Like, okay, I
I
meet
think
up with my friend, we meet at the starbase or whatever, and then we see somebody. How do we identify him so we know it's an enemy? And then if we attack them, how this goes down?
yeah, you
Anything?
always know when you are seeing enemy fleets. I guess this information, and you know that you are in a hostile. Yeah, head is dead, right? Dreaming Dragon said. You know, like
But who's red, for example?
anyone that's
Everybody?
not from
Enemy.
your faction.
Yeah, but we have no groups, right? So anybody should be red then, right?
No, no, people from your faction won't be red for you, you know.
Ah, just other factions.
Yeah.
And
So you know
NPCs.
that yeah, and NPCs that will have a
If
particular color as well, I guess.
if I may ask an additional
Please.
question in addition to this, um, will cross-faction cooperation be possible in Scream or in further modules in future? Means that you are able to, well, I don't know, do cross-faction activities together with other players.
You mean, for example, to doing objectives together with people from other factions?
For example,
Mm,
Yeah. I don't think so for this V0 version,
hmm,
but Screen is a representation of the Star Atlas universe. You know, it walks together with the lore and the development of the project as a whole. So,
yeah,
since we hope that Screen will stick with us even after we launch the full game, I foresee that there will be mechanics that enable you to play together with people from other factions if this becomes a feature inside the game of Star Atlas, you know. Like
Mm,
probably there will be this kind of opportunity, you know.
yeah, that would be cool. Thanks for the
Yeah,
And
sure.
answer.
Can I ask something
another
about where is the high risk zone? Because I mean, theoretically, we'd have to travel through it to get to each other, right? Like,
Yeah, yeah, the
That's a
high
good
risk
question.
zone it's it's locked for the moment, and there will be an explanation in terms of lore about why people are not reaching out for the high risk zone yet. But yeah, this is something that I'm not allowed to comment right now. Sorry, Calvin. I wish I could provide more detail,
well, that's all right. But it's
but we
interesting.
have we
Theoretically,
have
you'd have to travel through it, and you're not getting hurt traveling through it. So, do you know, or could you theory craft about whether or not in the future people can travel through the high risk zone without being stopped? Like,
Yeah, I believe in the future it will be possible. For now, what we have is the warp gates, right? That might take us through the zone that would be the
gotcha.
high risk zone, you know?
Okay.
so the gates are a connection between the zones.
Yeah, the gates will be used to connect zones. Yeah.
Can we build
Okay.
gates? Is that something that's owned by the faction DAO or by
I don't
the
think this
higher
will be
ups?
possible in V0,
Okay.
but the gates exist because the factions they are collaborating with each other right now, you know, like there is peace at the moment in Star Atlas, you know, and the gates are used to forward trading, diplomatic relationships, and things like that. What is starting to happen now in terms of lore in Screen is that those structures are being used by the guilds of Star Atlas to expand their influence in the universe. So, yeah,
Uh,
that's
can I
why we have
get one more about the combat?
you
Is there
can
any skill involved in combat, or is it basically a rock paper scissors, or the bigger fleet wins, or can
combat.
I
Uh,
some kind
I
of
don't
skill
know.
like
Yeah, I think that this is better spoken about by Chip, you know, but we plan to make combat not trivial in terms of, you know, like, yeah, it will have different factors that affect the battles, you know, like ships and things like
I
that.
think it was mentioned, right, that combat will be not be skill involved in the V0.
Yeah, yeah, at least for the first moment. But
Yeah,
Chip is
but
working on some cool stuff.
yeah, exactly. We can expect like more detailed information to come about
Yeah, we'll have a
combat,
brew for
movement,
combat,
and
you
all
know?
that. Yeah, like we can probably have like a whole brew around combat once we have like of another big alpha drop like we had in the previous town hall, but about combat.
Yeah,
Okay, can
I,
I ask a question about politics?
please.
Uh,
Did I lose
Sorry.
the connection or?
Oh, I was scared that I was the one that
Yeah.
lost the connection.
Yeah, I also thought.
I think everybody was in the same situation,
Yep.
man.
Connection, like, oh my god, what I do now?
yeah,
I was
sorry.
silent just in case.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Uh, I was saying, is it the policy of factions is it total war always, or can they like I don't know, two factions do a massive trade, say a huge amount of resources goes from one faction to the other,
Man,
exchange for
I love
say
I
Atlas.
love this question. I love this question, and it pains me to tell you that the answer to that will come in lore, you know. But like what's happened in terms of politics, like behind the stage of screen, this is something that will be developed in the lore, right? So, but in terms of what's happening politically is that we have the expansion through the star bases, and the star base will be points of political power inside the factions that are spreading their influence. But so far, the Treaty of Peace is still working. It's still value, like the people and the factions they respect formally the Treaty of Peace. Like there is trade, there will be so that's the reason why you guys will be able to trade your ships in the galactic marketplace, right? Otherwise, people from different factions wouldn't be able to trade goods and service. But yeah, there is this tension, and this will be better explained through the lore.
Cool.
It's up to the player to break this peace.
This is also a very interesting question. This is also something that might be voted by the DAO, the existence of the Treaty of the Peace or something like that. But yeah, maybe who knows, in the future an event might cause the treaty to be broken. This is actually a very entertaining thought.
Uh, well,
Yeah.
may I ask, is there any possible scenario when two factions ally together and totally destroy the third one? It's that possible in the game?
Hmm. I don't
That's
think that's theoretically. Hmm. Maybe, but I find it hard to understand how this would play out. Maybe, I don't know, the Usturs would never cease to exist, for example. But the security zone is something very hard to breach, because there are the motherships, there are the faction army per se. I don't know. I don't know if it's possible. This is a good question. Maybe I'll check out with Danny and the others sometime.
Yeah,
Santi,
one more.
I just wanted to turn your attention, guys. This is questions are amazing, but it's further down the line. Like why would you can imagine that it will take a lot of resources to wage a war, and the first thing you want to do when you enter in the game when we get V0 is not wage war, man. It's like let's develop, let's explore, let's see how it works, right?
Yeah, you're right, but
Let's
I
The
see.
can't
people are
stop
already thinking
dreaming.
about war.
yeah,
I,
yeah.
I just
Everybody's
can't
thinking
stop
about war.
dreaming.
Right. No, I understand, but there was some very exciting news about the instancing and how it can work in the game, and uh, maybe we can talk a little bit about this. Maybe you guys take the point.
Yeah, sure. I think we can. What do you think, Jose?
Yeah, man. I don't know. I sorry. I found very entertaining seeing how people are focused on different topics and different gameplay agendas. And yeah, I don't know. Maybe we can focus more on maybe some question about strategies to screen. Like what are guys thinking? The different
Yeah.
fleets that you need to how
Um,
different ships will help you in your conquer of space, because there will also be a logic for careers there in terms of gameplay. So yeah,
Okay,
there's
can I
lots
ask
to
one
explore.
question regarding that?
Sure.
Since we said you need to put your ship, you need to start from a hangar, and hangars have different sizes, and unless you collect enough loyalty points, your hangar is a small size, right?
We didn't disclose the starting size of the hangars, I guess,
Yeah,
but
I'm
if you
just
acquire a new one, it will start from zero. Yeah.
Okay, that's what I was asking. I don't know, maybe it's just I'm getting it wrong, but does it mean that at first all players have like XX small or small ships, and then they start building medium and large, entering medium and large ships, after building a bigger hangar, or am I getting it wrong? I don't know.
I'm not sure I understood the question, but the hangars will follow the logic of ship size inside the marketplace. So we start with extra
Yeah,
small, I guess, and we
yeah.
go all the way to
Exactly. Exactly. You're
like
answering my question. I'm just saying, it does everyone start with XX and say a small ships, and then they have to proceed and enter their medium and large ships later on after they upgraded the hangars, or
yeah, yeah. I don't know about the starting hangars. Like you start with maybe a few hangars that allows you to deploy at the beginning a large ship, for example. But the
Someone
ones that you acquire through loyalty points, those will start at XX small hangars and be upgraded with Atlas all the way through.
Oh,
Sorry,
but I
Robin.
think it was said the hangars can be upgraded instantly with Atlas. The
Yeah, it
LP
will
is
be
for the size
upgraded.
of the fleet.
The
So
LP are to get you hangar spaces as well, you know, like to deploy more ships.
That's what I want to ask. When you talk about the hangar, we talk about X, big, large, but the quantity of the chips from the same size, you need several hangars or how that works? Because I
At
made something stupid and buy like 400 objects back then.
uh, so just to clarify, loyalty points equals to more hangars. Atlas will make your hangars bigger. Regarding the ships and hangar spaces, each hangar will only be able to house one ship. And it doesn't matter if you are using a extra small ship or a large ship if the hangar can fill them. Like you won't be able to house like 10 small ships into a large hangar, Like it's one hangar, one ship. This comes from game design. This is something that they have done some math on. And at this moment, what they are working with is this hypothesis. They think this will enables us to scale better, to test things better, and to work better overall. This is the current design.
Hey, Zask.
Hello. Hey.
For example, I have my hanger. I can put someone different ship in my hanger.
No, I think they will be tied to your account. They
Oh,
would need
okay.
to give you the ship to do that. Otherwise, people would start to rent hangars, right?
Yeah, yeah.
People, I love this. People are already thinking about some nice stuff. But yeah,
I'm learning a lot, not gonna lie.
I've got some questions about loyalty points.
well, let's see if I can help you, friend.
Yeah. Do they say whether or not we could sell loyalty points to different accounts?
No, you can't sell loyalty points. They are bound to your account.
Okay, can we spend them on other things than hangers?
Yes, you'll be able to expand them on other things than hangars.
When there's got to be people who take goods from the front lines to back to the central space station, do they get any kind of resource, or from the planets to the star bases, freighters? And how do you mark that? I guess what I'm saying is, are we going to be given missions? And if we're given missions, who are they going to be given by?
Yeah, so the freighters, they will work on the logic of supplying the market with goods and service. And this is one parallel gameplay from fighting the battles of the star bases, for example. It will be profitable on its own. So players need to check and understand how they want to make their money, in terms of gameplay utility. Like you want to play the supply freight hole. I don't know if there are specific missions that will supply you loyalty points by providing supplies for the players. But what you can do is supply things to the star base. And I think this will reward you loyalty points, And there are two different logics there. One you can sell to players, one you can supply to your faction and help the star base to be upgraded and things like that. So
So
this
one
will be accounted for loyalty points.
Gotcha. So one of the ways we could mess with our own faction is mine a star system and then sell the resources like over the marketplace to a different faction or something like that.
Yeah, you can
Not that I
sell
would
the
do that. I was just curious.
just asking, for a friend. But yeah, you can sell the resources that will be manufactured as you sell everything in the marketplace. Once you get to a place that enables you to get connected with the global marketplace.
I think it's good to mention that there's really two ways to earn money in Scream, right? One is the let's say the gameplay that is completely based on loyalty points, and the other, of course, is extracting resources and selling them on the market. So,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
those are
this is
really
what
compatible. Yeah.
yeah, this is thanks, Funk Racket. Yes, this is the two different logics that you can play. You can play the faction Game of Thrones of space, like fighting the battles and the politics and everything, or you can supply this industry that's rising in the horizon of war. And what we want to do with our next iterations of Screen is making this even more complex, creating new ways of interacting, of new gameplay logics, new ways of earning Atlas and things like that to make the game more immersive each and every iteration, each and every upgrade of Screen. Maybe
And
through the different careers. Sorry, please.
what is the line that you resources that you get uh, that be yours or your faction? What's the line that divides us?
Well, everything that you harvest will be with you. If you die, they will be dropped in space. If you give them or use them to upgrade your faction starbase, it will becomes your faction resources and you get loyalty point from that. If you go take those resources, refine them in a starbase, for example, and then sell them in the market, they will come back to you. So it
Oh,
will always be with you unless you use them in the to give it to the faction to upgrade the starbase or things like that.
in
Do
the
you think?
end of the in the end of that all, this point is returned to you.
Yeah, the loyalty points will be like recognitions of the faction from the value that you added to the faction on that time frame. And the faction will compare like how much you given in value to the faction, and then it will give you back a proportional reward from the mission pool of the faction. So, for example, if you did like 1% of all loyalty points, you get 1% of all the Atlas that the faction will receive in that time frame.
Nice.
It's more like reputation. You need to think of it like reputation with your faction. That would be the best way to look at it.
Okay.
Yeah, but it can be spent as well, so have this in mind.
Oh, that's interesting. If we spend loyalty points, do we get less of a cut?
No, no, it's two different things. Like the contribution you got in the time frame will determine how much you get for a reward in that time frame. Then you can spend it however you want.
Gotcha.
So there's no point in saving LP points, right?
Hmm, I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that because it's different. It's not like there's no point. It's different objectives. Like for example, you want to go all in hangars, trying to multiply your fleet size so you can be at more places doing more stuff and compounding this way. This is an option. But I'm sure that there will be some other features in the future that will use loyalty points. And then you guys will need to make the choice of how to employ them, you know? But this is
Yeah,
not financial advice or anything like that. So just saying that this won't be the only use case for a loyalty point in the long run.
exactly. We still
Uh,
don't know.
Yeah.
I would just like to briefly. Somebody previously asked about missions, and I think it's interesting to understand that there are no missions within Scream. Not like as in you talk to a mission giver, but there's just various activities that give you loyalty points, and this is how you um, help your faction. If you help your faction, it will give you loyalty points. If you help yourself, no loyalty points, and this is how you get the Atlas as well. So there's not actual missions in the game.
Ye-
Some missions will come from players. That's an important thing to remember. Someone's going to hit you up and say, "Hey, bring me 10,000 of this resource," and that guy's
Well,
going
the
to pay
star
you.
bases actually need those resources, and of course you can also take them out and sell them for sure. But
Yeah.
Yeah, but in reality,
But
let's
they
just
could
be
pay you better
serious.
than a Starbase could, and you'd do it. I would.
Yeah, 70% of the community is not going to work on the star bases. I promise you that. You're going to have about that top 30% that are going to do it, but not most players will do nothing for the star bases, period.
Why do you
Well,
think
that
that, John?
depends how they stimulate you, you know? That
That's
depends on the rewards, right?
all survival oriented games, Santi. All survival oriented games work like that. You get the hardcores, which is what I am. I'm a hardcore, I'm elitist. I do work for the faction. But they're in every survival game based game I've ever played, and this is a survival based game. I'd say roughly 65 to 85% of the population doesn't give two cares about progression. They want what they can get for themselves, and then they move on.
Hmm.
This will be entertaining to see how this will play out. I have my doubts, but I also would like to point something. For example, let's just say you are a guild and that you want to expand to a certain star system. You can buy the resources that would be needed to upgrade the star system base until the latest tier as a strategy. So you'd be buying from the market, then you'd have this whole max tier star base over there at the center of the galaxy, and people would need to buy from you the resource that they need to explore on neighboring systems. You know, this is not financial advice, but this is something that could occur in terms of gameplays.
okay, can I ask a question? I've heard it several times so far.
Please.
Yeah, since
We're all
I
still
think we
here.
lost him.
oh, sorry,
We
sorry,
don't
sorry.
have.
since since Michael mentioned that the game will be fully on blockchain, and we know the main quality of the blockchain is its transparency. I've heard this several times. Does it mean that if someone can, I don't know, somehow monitor the network, can he know the exact location of the fleet and the various players and I don't know, the army inside the system? Is it
Excellent
possible?
question. Excellent question. And this is something
Yeah.
that I have been wanting
We
to
were
address.
discussing
And
that,
yeah,
Jose.
we were
I will let
discussing
you
this.
go with it.
Yeah, man, we were
Yeah.
discussing about this in terms of the importance of hiding information in screen, or how would be beneficial for people to knowing where there are a certain fleet. I was talking with Santi, and my hypothesis here, this is just my personal opinion, but I think that knowing or having the ability to learn at real time through the blockchain the locations of other people will be, at the best case scenario, useless, and in the worst case scenario, misleading. And why I say that? It's because first, there will be thousands of people playing at the same time, which means that information and movement of the fleets will occur at a very, very, very quick speed. This will mean that someone would have too much or like thousands and thousands and thousands of input about things that happen at every single second in the terms of the gameplay. And what can happen is that it takes time to travel in space. So you see a huge fleet on a given star system, but at the second moment, this fleet will change course, and it will take time for you to react. And let's say that you send your fleet to counter one of those fleets. So you expend resources, you take time, you mobilize your guild, you will make a plan, and by the time that you reach your destination, the situation can be completely different, you know? Well, it's not like we don't have the ability. Human brains can't process so much information live action, you know. This is what I was understanding. And from everything that I have read about Screen, everything that I have studied by the game, it looks like a lot like the classic board games, the European board games one, where information is open in the field for everyone. But everyone have their different agendas. Everyone have different cards on their hands. Everyone have different motivation. So what you can do is try to come up with a strategy that works for you. But you can't be sure of the strategy that your opponents are playing. And we are not talking about two or three opponents like in the board games, in the Euro board games. We are talking about thousands of people at the same time. So I think that if people try to focus on tracking certain fleets or something like that, this might be misleading. But again, this is just my opinion on the subject. And if you're asking me, Jose, how are you playing Screen? I would say that I would try to come up with organization of my deck, my friends, and try to make try to take hold of strategic points, you know. This would be my strategy. This is non-financial advice. This is just a passionate gamer looking at the screen and telling what he would like to do, you know.
We are taking notes, Jose. We are taking notes.
Yeah, this is what I would like to do. I would like to set a very strong star base at the middle of the galaxy, serve as a support point for my faction.
Maybe you can track the amount of people has been passed for the certain areas. You
Again,
know what I mean?
yeah, I know, but yeah, you can know that this is a well used road to for a faction to get from one place to another. But first, this can change. You know, like something that's useful in one day is not useful in the next day, as the game is very dynamic. So I'm hoping that everyone got this sense now. But screen will be very dynamic. There's no sure win strategy in the game as a sure win or sure profitable way of playing screen. Everything requires a context. You know, like a good action will be a good action in a certain context and not on another. So this will require rational thinking in terms of gameplay. And yeah, I don't think that this will be a huge pointer of anything relevant in the long run, you know, like people may even use this information to try and deceive their opponents, like faking people passing through that place, like going back and forward with his fleet to make people think that this is relevant when it's not. You know, this might be a decoy. If everyone knows how this is going to play out, people will create decoys for that. So yeah,
I just imagine
information
the
that's
hologram trying to cover all that, you know?
yeah, man. It's just like information that's open for everyone is not information that's worth for everyone. You know, like it will be at the best case scenario indifferent, at the worst case scenario misleading, in my opinion.
Cool. Any comments, guys?
I have a comment. It's so in the beginning, the game is stimulating us to develop relationships to smaller guilds, maybe collaborate together, to share info on where is good to mine, what is a good place to sell certain stuff, right? So it's kind of like a nurturing environment, right? And then slowly it will add more levels to it, right?
Well, I mean, the more systems that your guild control, your faction control, more resources you will be able to acquire through the galaxy. So yeah, it will be incentivized on these terms at every single point of the game, you know?
Yeah.
So I sorry.
No, no, go ahead. Okay, that's what I wanted to hear.
I have one more question. There will be a nerf and buff actions for the activities, like for example, in Next Infinity, is a buff or an F cards in the season that be strong in the season for the next one. They buff or nerf some discards.
I understand your question, but the logic of Star Atlas is very different from the logic of uh, X Infinity, you know, because X Infinity is like there are there are lots of different combinations of groups of X's, but in Star Atlas there are more elements than, you know, like different direct combat. You know, direct combat as it occurs in X Infinity is but one element of Star Atlas gameplay. You know, and I would be so bold to say that this might not even be one of the biggest elements in terms of gameplay in Scream. Of course, there it's entertaining to go with your fleet and destroy someone in space, but it's just a part of the big scenario, you know? And so yeah, we might see nerfs, but I'm not sure that this will be a thing. Like every season, we come and nerf something or we buff another ship, you know? Like they are working. Of course, there will be this kind of things. We don't need to fear this because this is everything that's being created now. So there is a learning curve, a learning testing curve as well. This is what we are aiming to do in Screen V0 in our products V0. But we don't want to do something like, okay, we need to rebalance everything every season. So like we'll do this as it becomes necessary. And there is a lot of personnel in Star Atlas that's always measuring how the ships are performing and things like that.
Yeah, and we'll have more info on the ships and specifics like on Scream and all that soon.
Okay,
Yeah.
one more question. Can I have?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, I'm a developer. I'm not a player. At least I claim to be a developer. I'm not a player, and being in a community and gathering a community isn't my strong point. But as Michael said, I don't know. Are there really chances and opportunities for developers to, follow on a Scream and do things in it, or is it just solely targeted for the players? And because I think they are 99% of the community.
That's a
You
good
mean,
question.
yeah. Hmm. Yeah, I don't know about that, like for screen specifically, you know. I'll ask Chip about this to see if there's uh, something specifically for uh, developers. But yeah, this is a good question. I'll reach out to
Yeah.
him and come back with an answer.
Yeah,
As a developer, you will probably also find ways on getting like stuff done that adds value either to you or to the whole game and ecosystem, right? Like
Well,
probably.
yeah, using the tools, you know. I'm not
Yeah,
much of a
yeah, yeah. That's a good question. That's a good question.
But I have an idea for you, man. There's there's communities of people that are developing tools, various stuff for Stellar Atlas. They're coming up with ideas, and as you say, you claim to be a developer. I think it will be very beneficial for you to engage in the community of your peers, you know, and see what how you can be helpful. And I'm sure that in Scream, information, like Zesk said, um, information is key. So maybe you can develop some useful informational tool for Scream, like where some
yeah.
players will report you where they went, where they found something, you know.
Yeah, yeah, that's a cool idea. Yeah, but would you send me this community? I really want to see them.
I think there's some of them are present here, man.
Yeah, you can reach out on the chat. People will show themselves.
Yeah, you know,
Oh, I think we lost
We
him
lost
again.
him.
Yeah.
seriously. I said developers are kind of introverts and they're hard to find.
No, man, the community is very, very helpful. So just reach out in the chat and say what you are looking for, and people will point you to the direction. I mean, unfortunately, I'm not a developer. I know several of them, and you know, just trust me. Reach out in the chat. People will help you.
All right, guys. Anything else that you may want to speak
I
about?
have a
I
question.
think we have. Yeah.
Do you guys know if there's going to be a release schedule at all, even like 6 months or a year or whatever, to like future Scream updates?
You mean like
Uh,
after we deploy Screen and then there will be a schedule, or right now, how long it will take to deploy Screen?
Just like generally, like if Scream Zero comes out, when will Scream One be planned to come out?
Yeah, this is the $1 million question, right? And unfortunately, we are not allowed to give our impressions on that, but every day we are closer, friend.
yeah,
Think
and
Like,
about
one
just to be
last
clear, like no major changes or anything to Scream or the projects that Stratless has will be done without the community knowing well before they change.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Yeah.
Can I ask one quick question that you might not answer or
yeah,
can answer, but I'm very curious.
sure.
So is now that we get more of a 3D star map, do you know if this is already like the beginning of the final star atlas, as in do these star systems already line up with what we will get in the future, or will at some point this map be redone with the actual star atlas?
That's a great question, actually, and I
It's a
know
great
that you.
question. Yeah,
Yeah.
and as you said, we are not allowed to comment on that so
I
far.
figured that would be the follow up now. Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Sorry for that.
you had to, Von Cracker. We understand.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
yeah, right, exactly.
Yeah.
awesome.
We understand. Okay, we
okay.
are nearly 1 hour and a half in, so I think it's a good moment to finish.
Can I have one question? That was just out of
Yeah,
get it out.
go for it, go for it,
And
go for it.
just very quick, are the police DAO, you know, the governance decisions affect Scream and the politics inside the Scream or not?
Well, the police DAO, when it has the properties, when it's launched and start voting motions, it has possibly the power to influence everything that's going on in Star Atlas.
Yeah,
Yeah, right. So inside the Scream, everything would be decided from the police DAO, right?
Well, Scream is supposed to be played as a project of its own, like the you'll be deciding in real life, real time, live action, how your faction and how your decks and everyone's going to play Scream, you know. But in terms of macro politics and logics, the police DAO might have effects on it, but there's nothing that's planned to be done at this moment that I'm aware of regarding the police DAO and Screen together.
Cool, cool.
Yep.
Well, I
It's
guess,
a lot bigger now. It's huge, you know. Like
yeah,
all
man.
the decisions in the DAO will have influence even in the long term of Star Atlas, you know, of the project itself. So
Man, we,
yeah,
we answered a lot of questions and there are still billions of questions to be answered, Santi?
Jose, man, we learn a lot from you, man. I
No,
think I speak
I
in the
learned
name
a
of the
lot
whole
as well.
community that we are glad to have you here sharing the knowledge, and everyone, every single one of you guys who just join here to share the knowledge and to theorycraft and brainstorm
Yeah,
about
guys, thank
Scream
you.
and the different things that we have coming, because I learn a lot, to be honest. Like even I'm in the team, but there's a lot of information all the time, and I actually digest it together with you guys. So yeah, I learn a lot from you, Jose. I learn a lot from Cracker. I learn a lot from Ratadum. I learn a lot from everyone. So thanks to everyone who joins and speaks and shares their theories and questions. I think it's super valuable. And yeah, guys, again, thanks for joining the brew today. Jose, any closing thoughts?
Now, just want to thank you everyone for your patience. Patience. I'm glad we finally were be able to disclose and talk about Scream. And there's much more to talk about, like as you guys have perceived, we have been walking this path of Scream for a while now. We have been talking about the chips, we have talking about low risk zone, we have been talking about the medium risk zone that's uh, appearing now for us in terms of gameplay. And all this knowledge will be important for the gameplay logics of Scream. So hopefully you have been paying attention to your brews. You know that different chips have different functions and will have different effects in the gameplay. So plan accordingly and let's have lots of fun and discuss more Scream as the weeks
Yeah,
passes by.
definitely. Yeah, maybe even the next brew we can speak about Scream. I want to touch on the topic that was brought in the different chats on multifaction guilds
Yeah, this is a
and
very
Scream.
spicy topic and
It's a
interesting one.
spicy topic,
We
perfect for a
can
brew,
we
right?
yeah, we can talk about 1 hour about this for sure.
Yeah, yeah,
Bring it on.
yeah, yeah. Probably for the next brew.
Yeah,
So yeah, guys, thanks for joining the Atlas Brew number 14. I encourage you to just stay if you want to continue speaking about Scream with the community. I'm sure that a lot of the people here will just stick around and continue speaking and theory crafting. So yeah, thank you for joining the Atlas Brew number 14. Make sure to stay if you want. And yeah, power to the people.
and stick to the man. Thank you guys. Have a wonderful week. See
Thanks,
ya.
guys. Same
You
to
too.
you.
You
See you.
too. Bye bye.
Later.
Good night.
Bye, everyone.
And now,
Yo, so who's gonna hire Aras developer?
as long as we get the CV in general chat.
I'm pretty sure there will be room for developers on the game. Any will would hire them.
Yeah, was just a bad joke of mine. Sorry for that. Was referencing to this guy in general chat who posted 2 or 3 times his CV.
Oh, that guy.
So Xcode is telling him job Star Atlas. No, I mean the guy just sounds like a just a shy developer, you know. Maybe he's
Yeah.
just looking for some guidance on maybe some ideas what to develop. He wants to get involved, you know. Maybe.
I didn't mean. Do you mean this blockchain king or our guy in voice chat here?
Yeah, the guy from the voice chat that said like he wants to develop something for Scream.
Yeah. Sorry. Then we've talked about 2 different persons, I think. Sorry, my bad.
Yeah, you thought I was talking about the guy that posted his CV here in the general.
Yeah, sorry, my
Yeah,
bad.
that also.
My bad. I'm sorry for the bad conversation.
No problem, man. But hey, man, maybe you can have a chat with him. Who knows? Maybe he,
Yeah.
you know, see what he knows, how he looks at developing. You know, because I mean, it's
Yeah.
a broad spectrum to say I'm a developer. You know.
Yeah.
But man, yeah. So I really like this part that we have to you know, first we explore together, we find the good stuff where it is, you know, it's all like no friendly fire, and you know, gradually it expands to something that, you know, we have in some other games, right?
I have never played a game that doesn't start like that, like really peaceful, and end in like war hacks and shit like that.
Yeah, I mean, to do war in any game, first you must level up, right? You can't be like a level 1 guy waging a war, you know.
Oh yes, there is a game.
All right, yeah.
There is a game.
Yeah, but people start playing like we are old friends. Let's just make some role
Yeah.
play. Let's chat, and that
Yeah.
becomes not true really soon.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what's interesting, you know. Especially, it's interesting who will be able to maintain their structure, their discipline. You know, big guilds. I doubt that you know big guilds will bring all the members to one place and at one time. You know, like everyone is online at the same time. It's impossible, right? So there
Yeah,
must be some structure and in this case I think the smaller guilds have an advantage, you know, if you have a group of like 5, 10 friends and you know you're alert, you coordinate, and I think this is a big advantage in the beginning.
Yeah.
it all depends how experienced people are. I know guilds who are playing like 20 years together. There are like guilds like 100 people plus.
I think that depends more on the game and how the combats are. But in some games, the number just win. No matter how coordinated you are, if you have bigger in the game numbers, you win. But there is another ones that don't. So we have to wait and see, I guess.
Yeah, we were talking about this instancing. I don't know if you guys heard of a game that could instance everyone in the same time at the same place.
Well, I played Tibia, long time ago, and we managed to get like 200, 250 people online at the same time.
I think World of Warcraft already did that, right?
Or Warcraft.
It's not really new. I mean, of course, still World of Warcraft had to split their servers because there are always limits at some point. But yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but
World of Warcraft.
even the Warcraft started doing those instances.
yeah, true. I mean, of course, the benefit. Well, yeah, actually, I don't know if it's a benefit. So, I mean, there are ships don't really move much. There's no jumping animations, dancing animations, that kind of stuff. Though, of course, we do have more ships, as in multiple ones per player. So, in the end, I'm not entirely sure that works out. I mean, World of Warcraft is now what 20, no, 15, 20 years old, something in that range. I mean, technology has progressed fortunately over time. So, I think I'm not familiar with everything that the devs wrote about, considering their single instance and technology they use for that. But a few things made sense and are pretty modern.
Don't you guys feel this game sounds, or at least imagine, like Travian? You know Travian? That's an online game.
Yeah, not the game, but yeah, played it.
It's a old game on browser. It's still up there. It's Travian, and I don't know why I feel like it's really that kind of game. This is Scream, of course, not all Star Atlas.
Is it the Viking settling game, or what is it about?
It's about Romans, Germans, and Gauls, uh, and we thrive and fight, and you get a village in X and G coordinate.
Yeah. Well, Stellaris and O game are like something that they took the inspiration from. If you heard about those.
Yeah, right. They compare it to Stellaris quite a bit, and you can really see that Chipto loves that game. And there's a lot of inspiration from Stellaris in Scream. Clearly, I mean, very even the star bases are also in that game. So it's really if you want to get a feel for how Scream might be, though of course less advanced, then I would for sure check out Stellaris.
Yeah, but how different you can do stuff. I mean, it's a spaceship, planets. You cannot do
Well,
like
there's
much
variety,
different.
plenty of variety possible. I mean, star bases require. I mean, to build a star base in order to get control over over a star system is it's not unique for sure, but it's not the only way, of course, to make a game.
Okay, that's great.
I'm seeing Stellaris on Google, and it look really, really like the picture they dropped last week. It's almost the same picture.
Well, I mean, it's the same perspective, right? It's like 3D isometric, which is not so uncommon for the strategy genre. But yeah, you see a sun, you see planets in orbit, and indeed, or a star. Sorry.
I'm just trying to figure out how I will play with my 300 Opal jets. I was so dumb to buy them.
Yeah, if you have only 300 Opal jets, then you of course might want to consider at some point exchanging a few of those for potentially different ships, though up to you. I think diversifying your fleet is always. I mean, once we leave score and go to actual gameplay, I think diversifying your fleet makes sense to do, especially scaling up to have indeed less ships so you can better control them. I think playing with 300, it depends really on the gameplay. I mean, at that point in time, you cannot individually control them anymore. So you'll probably just put them in a blob and use them like that, right? And that might work, but it's you don't get much from strategy at that point in time. So
I have a few other, but I'm thinking into a racing club on some planet I get.
yeah, of course, but why do you need 300 to race?
Yeah, to rent them. You can come and
Gotcha. You want to rent them out. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, that is well, that's actually interesting because we might, of course, with the racing will probably come in Unreal, and with that secret project that Danny and his team are working on, that might come potentially sooner rather than later. So though nobody mentioned anything about racing just yet, we know it's been mentioned a few times in the past. We know that the team is aware. It's kind of low hanging fruit once you get free flight in. So if not with that secret module, then probably uh, its first update, or at least first big upgrade, will include racing, because that just makes sense.
yeah, but rent them probably won't be really good because the idiot's good, but they are too cheap to someone just rent them when they can buy them by for $10 or less.
Yep, true. That's for sure a thing. I mean, if in the future it might be different, but at present, yes, for sure. So I would still suggest upscaling a few of those and swapping them for bigger ships.
I have another chips, some bigger than that, but I have them on score, and I don't want to get them out because I have to get them out all at once. I can get like only 200 out, and I don't want to lose the veterany. I don't know the days counting.
Yeah, I understand. So I'm not sure if you're still compounding into ships, but if you are, you could potentially set up a second account and start compounding in that one. And then at some point, once you have enough um, Opal jets to exchange them for something bigger, you can use that account at least to do that instead of just constantly adding more and more Opal jets. But I'm not, of course, not sure about your strategy, what ships you do have, and how fast things are going over there. But that's at least how I would then probably solve that if that would be the problem.
That's actually a good idea.
Yeah, you're welcome. Glad to.
Thanks.
Oh, I just now read the chat. So, Jon, what information do you have? I missed that. Who leaked that? When? Okay. Do you mean by, if you mention racing team devs, do you mean like an additional third-party development team like Spirasoft? Because it's okay, yeah, cool. Because the team already mentioned, for those perhaps unaware, that Spirasoft is of course currently creating or developing the showroom, um, and they will go on to actually, after the showroom, create the Oni central space station and some stuff around that. But they are going to hire additional third-party development studios to work on different aspects of the game, so they can increase their speed and do more stuff in parallel. So Jonas apparently saying that, oh, okay, in the Miami live stream, perhaps then even. Okay, in the Miami live stream, it was apparently mentioned that the team hired already a third party to focus on racing. So that's cool. That's cool. I missed that part. That's pretty cool. Oh, it was in that when Pablo was, I think, spilling a lot of stuff, right? Yeah, that could be. I can remember that Pablo was on a roll in Miami.
Someone told me that the voice chat after the brew is full of alpha.
Hey now, get out of here. This is for special people.
Support line, man. Come on.
Surprise, surprise.
I was listening the whole time.
Yeah, it's a shame that Miami stream that was not recorded, because what I especially the Pablo segment was quite interesting, because he was sharing a lot of stuff or hinting at a ton of stuff that I actually forgot most about. So that's a problem. Yeah.
Yeah, Paulo leaked Copa as well. I remember in the stream.
Right.
Yeah, and we were like, no, we
I
were
think he even
saving
mentioned
that.
the word, right? Or
Yeah, yeah, he said
yeah,
exactly
true,
Copa.
true. Damn.
Yeah, he was on fire, man. You know.
Yeah.
One beer too much or what?
Actually, I was hoping he might be on the brew given his earlier tweet, but apparently that was not the case.
Oh yeah, we need to get Paulo on another brew.
For sure.
The one we had with Paulo was fun, in my opinion. It was
Yes.
more philosophical because he's more that type, you know. But
It's Pablo, yeah.
yeah, I enjoy it. But
It's
right now we
nice,
have
right?
like
It's refreshing. I mean, if you want
yeah,
pure alpha, it might not be what you get, but it's yeah, I like it a lot.
yeah. It's like right now we have too much information to digest to do a brew like on philosophical matters, you know, and topics. But in the future we can probably do it again. I enjoyed it.
Definitely. Oh, Ratadum, are you going to work on a new game? Or did I just interpret it wrongly? Or you don't want to speak on it?
Oh, what's the question? Sorry, I was focused.
No, I was asking Ratadum if he was going to work on a sequel or a new game in the future.
Oh, okay.
Oh, sorry, guys. I didn't have my headset on. I just heard my name. What was that question?
Aha. So are you going to work on a new game? Is that what I read in the chat, or?
Yes, we actually have 3 separate projects in the pipeline that we're looking at right now.
That's crazy, man. That's crazy. That's cool. That's cool. I like that.
How many?
Three different projects that we're looking at in our pipeline specifically.
Oh man, send me the alpha.
Eh?
Yeah, no, I
We're
need to know.
we're not going to be alphaing anything for a little while. We want to put a lot of
Okay.
good work. We're going to be we want to put a lot of good work into the new projects, because Tufa Attack was just more of us showing people what we were capable of. Now we're going to be putting those capabilities into practice.
Nice.
I have no idea what to expect now, but it sounds awesome.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah, I don't want to give away too much, but I will say one little thing, because I mean, me and Sprite are on the same level, and I think he's down to leak ever so slightly. Prepare to be chilled.
Right, come on, say something, man. Come on.
Right, leak.
Yeah, man, please. Why you say that, man? Now I can't stop thinking what you're working on.
That's
What
the
was
idea.
the leak again? What was the leak again? Chills?
Expect
Yeah,
that.
again, please. Hints.
Chills. Yep.
Hints.
Prepare to have the chills.
Oh.
That's not, yeah. So you're upping the game. I get that, but that's the only thing I get.
Hi guys, can you hear me?
Right. Yeah, for sure, mate.
Yeah.
Hey.
Leak.
Yeah.
You will see it when you least expect it on the highest
No.
Okay.
in the game.
No.
They learned a few things from us, right?
I expect at least at this point in time. So go ahead.
4 to 6. 4 to 6, right?
We've obviously been watching everyone play. It's been a very interesting experience. The players pushed the game way further than we expected. So now we've got some things up our sleeves to make it more interesting.
Nice.
We can't wait. We're very excited. We're working on the new projects. I'm also dinking around with Tufa Attack, making sure to finish that up as promised. And so yeah, it's just I have to work a lot. I got to make up some money because I took some time off. I took some time off to finish Tufa Attack quickly, and now I got bills to pay. So it's going to take a minute.
Completely get that.
I want to see more. I can't believe you said that all that info and you can say something, man. I'm going to explode. But
Muhaha.
we're going to wait for it for sure. Nice. That are some good news. For sure.
Yeah, we're happy to do it, and we can't wait for you guys to see it. But we don't want to give away much more than that.
Yeah, man, obviously. It's okay. It's okay. The hype is going to work. For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Nice.
Hype.
Man, the Tufa tourney was really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was really interesting to see the strategies the players came up with, especially after a 10K score. So that helps us to know where to take it at that high levels.
Yeah, that was a thing that surprised me a lot. Like the first time was when Random was talking with Jan. That Jan was explaining how he played. Random was like surprised about what he was saying. So like it was so cool to see him surprised about how people play his game, you know?
Yeah.
And it's something crazy that was so cool to see and hear.
And just watching the players in action, it was fascinating for us to see the strategy and the skill, but the strategy as well. They came up with very good strategies to survive.
The final was so cool. Like both were really high level, man. Like Kel that does he made two games with more than 40k points. It's so crazy.
Yeah.
While Vento is made more than 100,000. That it's crazier. But yeah, it was so cool, man.
But that's gaming skill to figure out how to beat the game almost. That's skill. It's pure skill. It's reflexes, but it's also understanding the mechanics, figuring out the mechanics, and overcoming them.
Yeah.
Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah.
I think that's the key to play better, right?
Yeah.
And I
Either
think
you
that
have it or you don't, you know? I think that you're born with
yeah,
it.
yeah,
You're born with it.
yeah, for sure, man, for sure.
Yeah, it's an analytical skill as well as pew pew skill.
Yeah.
Those guys are going to be dangerous in the high risk scene, you know? Like
Yeah,
I'll
man.
probably hire Bento and Kel as my bodyguards, you know?
That was probably one of the biggest benefits we got from the Tufa Attack tournament, producing the game. All that wasn't just about seeing who to watch out for, but seeing what everyone themselves was capable of. Like just learning about each individual person. Like you can learn a lot just from their play styles and stuff. I thought that was
Yeah,
really
for
cool.
sure, for
Yeah.
sure. Probably there are games that are that people are going to be better in that game that we don't know, like at the moment. In which type of games that people can demonstrate what they know, basically. It can be cool if we can guess in which games are the best ones to try people if they are going to be good players or not. in the
and
Stratos
also
game.
the analytical skills, how they can enter a game, analyze its mechanics, and come out on top.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's cool when the good players explain what they do.
I love that. I really wanted
Yeah,
to get
man.
to speak at the end, man.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like a feedback or explanation of why the fuck they got 100,000 points, man. That's completely crazy.
But
Yeah.
but also for us as the developers, now they've explained it to us. Now we can make things more interesting for them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, that's true.
Well, that was the thing. That was the thing that really blew our minds is like, I designed it that at 10K, you were supposed to just basically get ramrodded, so things would go quick and, we'd have nice quick matches. I
Yeah,
did never anticipated people being able to reach those levels whatsoever. But because they were able to reach those levels, it literally changed the nature and plan of the game all the way around,
yeah,
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 which
yeah.
is cool. I think is awesome. Like the game itself evolved
Yeah, for
because of
sure.
the players.
yeah.
That's crazy. And now when you're going to make those projects that you said, you're taking care or not? It's not taking care. You're thinking about these things when you create the engine and that stuff.
Yeah, more or
Oh,
less.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Because like as you said in the too fast that after 10K it's going to be like the top, and you saw that people made a lot of more. Now probably you're going to think about it when you create these games.
Yeah, well, the functionality of them in general is going to be completely different than Tufa Attack, so we won't have those same situations.
Okay.
But there are some situations here and there that may apply that we will be applying the lessons we learned from Tufa Attack to those situations specifically.
Yeah, 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 for sure. Just to think that you were expecting that people achieve 10K as a lot, and you saw that people can do a lot more. That's what he wanted to say. Like maybe the line of expectation from players now is a bit higher.
Quite a bit more than a bit.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. If yeah, for sure, yeah. Well, that's another cool thing for sure. Who knows? Maybe it's going to help for the the developers from the Stratas game. I don't know.
There is some lessons for starters from this. Just when they see the pew pew skills of the players in action, I think pew pew is going to be fierce once it's released in the startless game.
It's
Yeah,
going to
yeah,
be a great time sink, at least. At the very least, it's going to be a great time sink because people will be waiting for their teams to collect up or whatever to go do something fancy. And I guarantee people are going to sit there and play Tufa Attack or other games that other people produce as well. Like the Lobby, whatever that one was, the Flappy Lobby, and then
yeah.
the racing one. I can't remember the name of the damn racing one, but it was cool.
But also the sheer determination of players to put in a 4-hour game session. That's that's impressive. A
Yeah.
2-hour session. That's quite impressive.
Yeah, yeah. True, true. Oh man, it was a really good event for sure.
I'm just glad that everyone enjoyed it. That was my biggest fear. There was going to be a lot of haters. They were going to try to cut us down or something, and there really
Yeah.
wasn't any haters. There was one guy who was pissed off because I didn't know about Azerty keyboards, and once I corrected that issue, that was it. That was the
Yeah,
only
man.
problem we had with that.
And if you're a hater from a game that made a community member, you are a really bad person, man. You are doing that with love. for the community to play, and you're a hater of that. Come on. I think yeah, man. Why? Like,
Freaking yawn.
what you're expecting?
Freaking.
Like, it's a community game to enjoy and have fun. What do you want?
Jan, you did quite good, man. Being
Man, a
left-handed
lot.
and being discriminated. You did quite good, Jan. You made it to the top 25,
Ah,
being discriminated. So
It was
yeah.
an unanticipated debuff, is what it was.
Also, a good shot from the guys that had like a bad computer or similar, or a slow computer that play a lot with not the best uh, tools.
yeah.
That talks well from them.
I'm sorry, I wasn't in the session before. You guys are planning to make another minigame or not?
Yeah, well, not a mini game specifically. We're actually going to branch into full production now. So the mini game was just proof of concept, making sure that we were going to work together well and all that stuff, but also providing something for you guys. Us showing our love for you guys.
Cool, but you're gonna leave just leave it to Fartek, or you're gonna continue?
No, Tufa Attack will be finished. There will be more to it. I just don't have time. I just don't have time. I gotta work.
We've already planned it out. We already know what's coming next for Tufa Attack. It's just a question of time because we're doing this in our free time. So, but there will be some more challenges in Tufa Attack coming to you guys.
Yep.
Yeah, but that's not your main project. That's a side project.
Well, they're all side projects. We don't have a main project at this point in time. Me and Sprite works a bunch. He does like design of apps and stuff like that for phones and computers and things like that. And like I'm a delivery driver, business owner, and so this time of year is like one of my busiest times of the year. And so that's why I had to take time off to finish Tufa Attack to make sure it was ready for the tournament, basically. But beyond that, it's always been side projects for us, at least at this point in time. Until such time as we're able to monetize something, then we will probably be able to at least have some more free time to really focus in.
Yeah, game.
But there is more plans for us to do Tufa Attack, and we already know which directions we're going to take. It's literally just a question of time.
Yes, Sprite's been proving that he likes to he likes to do the same thing I do, which is to try to come up with ways to counteract the players. So keep your eyes open for that, because we're going to be working against you guys a little bit, So that's the idea. For us, we feel like the game is a representation of us playing against you guys a little bit,
What do you mean?
Well, like so there's two kinds of developers in this world, let's put it that way. You got the ones that we are not, the ones that hold your hand, that are going to guide you every which way you go. And then you guys got us, well, myself specifically, I'm kind of an elitist and I like to push people to those new levels all the time. And I feel like Sprite's like that too. And so that's the other side of the development side, which is we're working against you guys, trying to push you guys to those limits every time.
Oh, I understand the point that you're talking now. Okay, I see.
So,
Well,
sorry, go ahead.
no, see, go.
Okay, so with Tufa Attack, you guys completely surprised us by the kind of levels you took the scores to. So now we're working to make it more interesting at those levels.
Yeah, more interesting or more difficult?
It's the same thing.
Yeah, both.
Yeah, it's exactly the same thing. Yes, it is.
Yeah, it's a chain. Like if it's difficult, it's going to be interesting for sure.
Correct. And we want to try and not to make it so monotonous at the higher levels. We want to introduce different challenges that you have to adapt to.
Well, for that reason, there were people that didn't play because they saw it too competitive. And in the same way, a lot of people played because it was so competitive. And that's the way to see, like, from the other side of people that like games that are competitive and like devs as you, Radum, that likes this type of games that are like competitive. And there's another people that don't like it, you know?
Yeah, I'm highly competitive. That's true. But some of the stuff in our pipeline is PvE friendly, I guess is the best way to put it, or people who don't like to compete as much.
Yeah.
It will be more friendly to that audience as
Okay.
well.
Okay, nice. Yeah, yeah, we go. Sprite. Okay. I was talking that with this event we can see a lot of things that before it we didn't see, like as as we are saying. That's cool.
You guys ever thinking of adding some mechanics to the game? Just like take it, I don't know, to another level, something different, not just defending against an attack, something even attacking something. I don't know, a single player.
Oh, I see. I see what you mean. You want kind of like a storyline, more of a linear feel is what you're
Yeah,
saying.
kind of thing.
So you point A to point B, objective achieved, so on and so forth. Maybe boss mechanics that require you to utilize this before you attack the boss or something like that. I mean, I
Exactly,
feel like
something
that's
like the old
what you're
arcade.
saying.
Well, now I can't stop thinking what is next, to be honest.
What would be nice is a form of progression where you can upgrade towards bigger and more powerful ships. And then what Ratadun has always said is what would be interesting is to introduce co-op and multiplayer aspects to it.
Well, multiplayer can be really good. Really good. I have a question for Random. Like,
Sure.
Thinking now, and if you have the possibility of starting the tooth attack from zero, what would you change?
A code optimization.
No, well, yeah, for sure. Apart from that, because yeah, that's completely understandable. But
Uh,
something that it's not from that side, you know, because I understand that like that you think that 10K was the top and that stuff.
So really, like the general mechanics and gameplay of the game are pretty much where I want them. There's a couple little things here or there, like the infiltrators originally were supposed to fly more like ninja stars at you. So instead of them flying straight, they'd be spinning.
I see.
And they were supposed when they landed at their spot, when they opened up, they were supposed to spray bullet. And so I did that originally, and it sucked. It was like it was horrible dealing with those guys. So that's why I simplified them down, and they just fly in and spray the laser basically. But they used to be like 10 times worse than they are.
Oh, that's cool.
With
Uh,
scores now, you want to bring them back?
I've been thinking about it. I've been thinking about putting the harder ones after 10K to add a little more difficulty.
Maybe you can make a tooth attack too for this.
Well, so I can leak this because I know I can because we've already talked about this with other players. But so the next iteration of Tufa Attack, so like where we're going to finish Tufa Attack, it's going to have the full level and all that jazz, right? But
Okay.
then technically the next iteration of Tufa Attack is going to be Vizus Attack. So because you'll be fighting against Vizus ships,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
we haven't decided what ship you're going to be flying against them yet.
What
So
did
the
the
game
Ooftour
is
ever do to you, man?
And can you
I'm sorry.
repeat because I was talking? Yeah.
Yeah, no, you guys all cut each other off. So like, if you guys could do that again, I couldn't hear either one of you.
Repeat, Funker, please.
No, I was just saying, what did the Ooftour ever do to you, man? Why are the
I
Visus
think
hostile?
so. Random. The game it's not to attack. It's attack. Like
More or
now
less, yeah.
now you change the ship. That's cool.
Well, there's going to be more ships in Tufa Attack. There's going to be more in and with the Vizus Attack, there's going to be other ships there. But
Okay.
the goal is to develop the tournament competitive editions first, right?
Yeah.
So when you guys decide to have a tournament, there'll be Tufa Attack there, and you can run a Tufa Attack tournament, or you can do a Visus tournament, or whatever else, a Fimble tournament, whatever, And
True,
then,
true.
but the goal is once we finish those tournament versions, we're going to mesh them all together, and it's going to become one big version. So it's kind of like the Star Atlas modular approach,
Yeah.
but a little bit different, because it's full gameplay at each module, other than that, it's basically the same thing,
Okay. See. Yeah. I understand the point, and for me, it's a really good idea. Yeah. I think it's going to be great in that way. You're going to add more content, like different. Maybe with that, you also change the background and the stuff too, right?
Oh yeah, yep.
Yeah,
So I don't know if you were there for the leak, but I leaked what the next level is going to be. I mean, do you remember that?
Oh, maybe, but I don't remember, man. Now.
So the next level is going to be themed around. It's like everybody knows Bodhi, right? He's like one of our biggest bag holders for the game.
Yep.
And so that level, the next level, is going to be the players are going to be helping Bodhi defend one of his tree arrows, basically.
Oh.
That is the idea behind the level. I mean, we've got a lot of work to do on it, but that is the idea.
Yeah. Like the concept, basically. Okay, nice.
And it will be a vicious onslaught of something. I think he's Uster, so I don't think